Hello. Hi. Tis the start of a new era, and for me, that means rebranding. So, the first time I branded myself was about 2 years ago, give or take. It was for a class project in college as a graphic designer. That's kind of what we need to do. We need to brand ourselves. And I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. However, I couldn't give it the amount of time and effort and energy as it deserved because, college, you have so many other classes and so many other projects. Your mind is kind of just all over the place. So I thought now would be a perfect time for me to rebrand while I have some time on my hands and I can really focus in on it. So I'm like 1 year out of college, and I'm kind of in between jobs. So I'm going to be applying for jobs soon. So this is essential and a perfect time for me to brand. So I'm just gonna take you along with me. This could be, I'm expecting like at least 3 days kind of thing. I don't know how much I'm gonna film because filming might distract me. I'm giving myself about a week to work on it, and I think that'll be enough. I'm hoping. So the first thing I'm gonna do is make a mood board of kind of what I want my brand to feel like, which could be hard to do, but it's also really fun. I enjoy making mood boards. I enjoy encompassing feelings and colors and putting them together. So that'll be what I will do first. I'm also just looking at like my own like past branding that I had done in the process book for the project. So, and I was just like looking at like the logos and then like explorations and kind of just what I want it to be. And then looking at the colors, like I think these were my colors that I chose. I don't know how I feel about them. I think they're very muted, and I don't know if that's the vibe I want to go for anymore. I think I want some, I think I want some muted colors, but I think I also want some bright, vibrant colors in there. Kind of just to give that diverse, like high contrast look and feel. I think all of these, like, with the cream color, the different shades of green. I also have like a dark blue in here. Like it's kind of hard to see. Like they're so dark. Like they're all in the same kind of like tone. And I don't know if I like that anymore. So I think I'll keep some greens definitely, but I kind of like the mix of the really like warm kind of colors and then the cool colors. With all of this, I'm also going to change my logo. I used to like it and now I don't. I think it's a little weird that it's like so rounded and then there's just like really sharp point. I was trying to do something. I don't know what I was trying to do though. I need to change it. So yeah, I think that will be something I do maybe tomorrow. I probably will revisit some sketches today at least and see what I was thinking. Alright, so I love this. I think this just embodies me. And I'm going to preface this also by saying that I am a maximalist at my core. Don't get me wrong, like, I like minimalism. I design minimally more often than not because that's just kind of what clients like more often than not. So I like it, but I am at my core a maximalist. I love details. I love attention to details. I love searching through images and illustrations and looking at all of the things. So I think for my brand, I want to incorporate some of that maximalism in a hopefully tasteful way. So I went through mostly Pinterest, some of Behance and Dribble, but I think I found mostly everything on Pinterest. And also just to say that this is a mood board, so this is just kind of the feeling and vibe that I want my brand to give off. I in no way want to copy any of these things, but yeah, I'll talk through kind of just my thoughts. I really like the cosmic celestial vibe of designs. I love stars, I love the moon. I like that as an aesthetic. I also like textures and pictures, so as used as backgrounds particularly. But I fell in love kind of with this. It's kind of scary because there's like dead fish. It's kind of creepy, but I loved this kind of like texture here in the background, but then you know there's just a lot going on and I love it, but then there's just like this simple logo that just really pops from the scene. I also really liked this because I also just really love plants. If you can't tell by just like looking at all of the different kinds of like plants you see here, I love plants, and I think plants add a lot of texture, a lot of color, and a lot of like variety and detail to a design. So I really want to try to incorporate some patterns, some designs, some detail in either photography format or illustration. We'll have to see about that. Also, you can see a theme here. So I had said previously that I wanted to go for an orange kind of color and then green. So you can see that throughout. And then while I was just searching for images and just like looking at designs, I was really drawn to ones that had black and gray like that, so you have like this really stark contrast, and that's what I wanted. So I loved all of these, just like looking at these and like looking at the pops of color. So I also really love butterflies. I don't really know why. I just really like butterflies. I also really love foxes, and it's kind of fortunate that a fox is also orange. So we'll see how I incorporate kind of like fox colors or butterfly colors, or even designs like wing designs into my branding. This may not happen, but we'll see. Yeah, so this is just kind of the mood board I'm starting out with. Also, these images over here are, I'm pretty sure they're like screenshots or illustrations artists have done on DeviantArt. They're screenshots from the video game Jedi Fallen Order. And this game actually was a big inspiration for me loving orange. But then orange in the combination with blue is also just, I don't know. If you have seen bright orange with cyan, it is impeccable. Like, it just, chef's kiss. Love the combination. So this is the mood board I'm starting with. And yeah, so I'm just gonna move on to kind of figuring out what my statement for my brand will be. It's day 2 of my rebranding process, and it's going pretty well. I'm just sketching out logo ideas today. Yesterday I ended off with finding a statement that can work. I might reword it a little later on, but there are keywords and phrases in it that I think are good for now, that will help me stay focused on what I want to do. I also today have been looking at like my past logos or just like sketches in like my notebook. Oh yeah, so like sketches like this that I've been looking at. I've also been looking at like ones that I have used and liked in the past couple years. So there have been 2. Yeah, so there have been 2. I used this one for illustrations like in the beginning, and then I used this as my final logo for that project I had done, the branding project. So I've been looking at those, and I was trying to figure out if I want to stay with the initial logo, like using your initials for the logo, or if I want to kind of go the more icon route and find a different mark for myself. So I've just been working through a matrix and doing some sketches like this. One side is just design principles, and the other side are just words, nouns and adjectives that kind of describe me. And I tried to pick things that I wouldn't get sick of, so they would, stand the test of time. So I've just been working through that, and I think I'm gonna watch some studio vlogs and get sketching.
Evolved, etc. So I am thinking of making a video like that and make it online. I guess I just never have, because it's a very vulnerable thing for me. I come from a background.
I'd rather be a criminal, Mr. Stone, than a traitor. Can I go?
You let him go just like that?
There's nothing we could have said to convince him.
He has a beating heart. He has a conscience.
So something that I just noticed as I was working with the colors of my brand, that all of them, including this cream background, are the same colors on my phone case. So before I end, I just want to come on here and show you what I have thus far. This is always up for some editing and some tweaks in the future. I most likely will do that. But for now, this is what I have, and I'm so proud of it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It is very different from how I normally design. So I went with a cosmic concept, and that is very evident in the moon and stars and just kind of how they're displayed. I wanted to incorporate circles because circles are like my favorite shape. They're very whole, balanced, friendly. I also had some Japanese influence and inspiration when designing this. If you can't tell, Watanabe is a Japanese last name, and it's my last name, so it's a part of me, and I wanted to incorporate that into kind of the process of designing this logo. I also wanted this design to appear imperfect and loose. I'm kind of straying away from my perfectionism and my need for it being perfect and it being symmetrical. I wanted this to be different from how I normally design. And I will get into that in more detail, probably on my website in the future. So look out for that. But this is what I have. You can see my mark here, my logo, probably my primary logo. Here's a secondary version of my logo. You can see how my mark is in my color palette. I definitely love these colors a lot, and I love that they pretty much look great together, and they're very different from what I had before. If you can remember, I had a lot of dark colors, not a lot of tonal difference. So I'm glad I could come up with some more bright and vibrant colors to pair well with deeper muted tones. From my mood board, I had talked about using photography specifically for backgrounds to add that textural element, the detail, and the more maximalist feel. So here you can see I incorporated a picture of a butterfly, and for these photos, they're from UNSPLASH. I will link their photographers down below. With the logo paired with, or the mark rather, paired with this photo, you get a more whimsical feeling from the mark, as opposed to incorporating my logo with a background of a city. You kind of get a whimsical vibe, but it's also different. Like, it also feels like you could say, like, instead of these being stars, they are city lights, and it just makes sense. So I want to see how I can eventually incorporate my own photography into my own branding and design, and do that in the future. And of course, having a forest background, who doesn't love a beautiful, majestic forest? So I wanted to see how my secondary logo would look as well with a detailed maximalist kind of background. And I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy with how my logo turned out. Thank you so much for joining me on this rebrand and design journey. I hope you liked the video, and see you in the next one.